We are Steven and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
happy Friday. Friday. Sorry, I won't do that today.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how to start your own business and not fail.
I got some good stuff here.
So do I. It all comes down to one word for me, risk. It's
not on my list.
But not all people see things that are risky. So risk, everybody sees risk differently. And that's really the takeaway from all of this. And we'll run through all types of businesses where I think there's risk and not risk. And you may see no risk and I see a ton of risk.
This is cool. You did, because this is how we are. The way you look at it is all the pre-work. And I look at it like the actual day one, now what do we do?
Exactly. So I actually have something to bring to this conversation. I was an investment banker for years. And the way that investment bankers and private equity groups look at and value businesses, it's not like Shark Tank. I'll help.
I clearly did not go to accounting school.
Before we get it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free, and thank God you didn't.
Which is why I have you.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you.
I've seen those accounting girls. This is
Could you imagine? Remember I talked a couple days ago about the people that you knew had the corporate look? That's not me. I don't have the bob haircut or my hair pulled back so tight in a bun. I can't do it.
So serious.
I'm wearing shorts right now. I'm sorry to accidentally scratched you. Jason wrote, "Hi guys. So I have done several self-closings and recently closed on a cheap desert property in Arizona. After selling me the property in her name, the customer tells me she has a deed in her deceased mother's name right next to it.
So it's another property.
Oh, and she has her mother's will saying she is the executor. I told her I would look into it on how to write up this deed. This property is a $200 deal, so really no budget for a title company / attorney. There is only one other person on the will, a sister who has signed letter of authority to sell to me. Could I simply write up the deed and have her sign as executor? Or possible have brother's sister quick claim their deed? This is getting nuttier and nuttier and a little more confusing as we go, and it's making me nervous.
I'm going to answer, okay?
Yeah. Anyone had a similar situation in Arizona? If it's too much trouble, I will move on. But I hate to leave money on the table. Go.
It's too much trouble, move on. Here's the deal. This is I put this question in here. We've answered it probably 20 times over the years, but it's a very good question, and it actually comes up. And so if you're brand new, I don't want you to worry about it, but I want you to be aware of it. If you're a seasoned investor listening to this, you already know what I'm going to say. When people die, they have assets. And if they don't do any type of estate planning, most people who die have a will somewhere tucked in a drawer. And it says, all my stuff goes to my daughter. And then they think they're done. And rightfully so, because no one's ever said anything different to them, because that's what's in the movies and everything else. That's just not the case. If there's a bunch of stuff in the garage, definitely, that covers it legally. If there's a car and the deceased mother, she owns a car and it's in her name, it's got to go through probate. There's all kinds of rules. And a lot of times with the personal property like that, it's not worth it. With real estate, now there's some value there. Like everything, there's cheap real estate like we're talking about now and multi-bajillion-dollar real estate. That property has to be deeded before the person is deceased into an entity that can be transferred. It's real bad news for a lot of people. And believe me, Jill delivers this bad news to people constantly. You know, she's got the speech down. I've heard her. Recently, I've heard her say on the phone, man, I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here. And frankly, we can undo this for you. It's going to take 6 months. There's a bunch of stuff involved, and it's going to be very expensive to the point where the property is going to be valueless. So when someone dies with a property in their name, it's a lot of undoing. And that's what's going on here. Just a will doesn't make any difference.
I had one yesterday, as a matter of fact. I don't know if you heard me.
No.
It was a double whammy. It was, number one, the exact situation they're describing. I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this. And it was like her aunt. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then number two, it was an area that it's really unfortunately not worth anything. You know, there's a few areas that were subdivided into such small properties. You need multiple ones to do things with. And it was one of those I had to say, even if you were giving it to me, I'd have to say, no, thank you. So sometimes that happens.
You have to buy the property from the person that's on the vesting deed, which means the deed right before you. And so if John Smith...
meaning mom in this situation.
Yeah. And she's not around to sign it, it takes some undoing.
Exactly.
And we've done it. You know, for a $500,000 property, we'll get lawyers involved and we'll undo everything. Mm-hmm. And we'll do it for free.
And some people, I mean, it depends on the situation too. Jason, if you want to ask, like, we've had this one's obviously not a really big deal, but if it was, some people have had attorneys, they could say, oh, you know what? The attorney who did this whole thing, we only finished it 6 months ago, or we're still in it too sometimes. Sometimes they'll call and they're in the process. I'll say, great. Get with your attorney, have him roll this in, have him do this as part of what you're doing right now. Call me in however many months when you have it all worked out. Happy to buy it from you.
And my last point on the question is that the states handle this all very differently. In California, you can do an affidavit of heirship, which is they make it very easy. It's one of the only easy things to do in California of all things, all of them.
You make it sound like buying a popsicle's hard.
It is.
Okay.
And forget about the DMV. But in Arizona, ironically, it's very difficult to accomplish what you're trying to do. So, some states it's easy. That's the good news.
I'll get you a popsicle.
Today's topic: how to start your own business and not fail. So everybody sees risk differently. The good news is that you are in America. In no other country can you just whimsically on a Sunday pop open a website and buy a convenience store. There's no other place in the world where you can do that and end up being a business owner on Tuesday if you do it all right.
That's good.
Sometimes for no money. So you have a lot of choices.
It's true. And
a lot of times when you have tons of choices and freedom, you screw everything up for yourself. That's why you have old people like
we
me.
know that one.
That's
Let
why
us save you.
Old people like me who have shows like this to say, just chill out for a second. Let's think about this just for 5 minutes before you get your checkbook out.
I think this is a great idea. This is what we should do. It's free, baby. It's free. Because they're out there right now. Takeovermybusiness.com.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yep, that's right.
Be careful.
Here's the keys.
It's like I used to tell the kids, like, as seen on TV, like, but mommy, it's free. Sweetie, it's not free.
Yeah. Something paid for this commercial to get to you.
Exactly. It's not free, honey. That's called fine print right there.
So I see a convenience store with a good history of sales and a reasonable rate as very risky. I see it as a single point of failure. But most importantly, what kills me about businesses like that is there's a cap on revenue. So there's only so many people that can walk through the door during the day, and there's only so many products that you can sell. And if you really, truly do the math in a spreadsheet on it, you won't buy it.
That's a good point.
If you're just looking to not have a job and really just kind of sit behind the counter and that's your life, or maybe you own a building and so you don't have any rent to pay, and now you don't have any rent, now you don't have any payroll, the two largest expenses of anything. So you might clear $30,000-$40,000 a year that way and live a happy life, and that's great.
Hopefully more than that.
Yeah, it's tough. Those businesses are tough. Hopefully more than that, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right. So it all comes down to risk. What we do, I see as like risk-free, like as risk-free as it can possibly get. There's no real startup costs to this. In our case, if you choose to join, which I don't recommend, I think you should really spend some time on your own before you pay to get into this group that we're in and see if it's for you. But once you make that decision, here's why I think this works. There's a huge diversification. There's a lot of places you can fail and still do great. If you buy 10 properties and 3 of them work and 5 of them don't, it's not going to sink the ship, which never happens, by the way. I've never heard of anyone saying, I bought 10 properties and 6 of them worked.
You know what's great, too? I'm like just thinking I'm thinking of your analogy of the liquor store or whatever it is, convenience store, and what we do. Like, think about, like, my inventory is a piece of paper.
Yeah.
How great is that?
We never leave the desk.
I could turn it on. I could turn it off.
I don't have to go to work. I mean, a convenience store, you got to turn the lights on and get up every day.
There's I don't have
There's
to
a
pay
million things.
extra utilities. Only my website. I mean, that's really
$8
it.
a year.
And then I can, again, turn it on. I can turn it off.
Yep.
There's a lot. I didn't even look at our stuff like that.
So this didn't all happen by accident. You know, I owned laundromats and nursing homes. I owned all kinds of stuff before this. And Jill and I have other businesses. And honestly, don't do as well as this. So from when it comes to a risk standpoint, I don't see this as risky at all. I send a bunch of mail out. The mail costs us, that's what the big turnoff for a lot of people is. It costs money to see what's going to happen. And so that's great. That's just more for all of us.
That's okay. You know what? Because I was going to say the reason we have no risk is I don't buy it. If there's any risk in the property, I don't like it. I don't like the price. Something I don't like, I don't buy it.
Most of the time we know who we're going to sell it to during the acquisition.
Right.
And so could you.
Exactly. Especially the way I'm doing stuff right now. So I love this. Keep
so
going.
The other thing too is that in my convenience store model, and I'm not picking on convenience stores because they've, places like Circle K or Piggly Wiggly, if you're in the South, they just roll that stuff up and make $1 bajillion. So I'm just using it as an example. You can't have a job and have a convenience store. You can have a job for a decade and do this on the side to the point where it doesn't make any sense to have a job anymore. There's another huge risk reduction. You don't have any money. That's fine. If you have a great real estate deal, call us. Call anybody in the group. We'll do it with you. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason. There's no sentence. There's no yeah, but here. Mm-hmm. The yeah, but is I don't like real estate and I don't like data. If you don't like real estate or you don't like data, this is not the place for you. You can turn off the radio right now or whatever. What do the kids listen to on their phone? Probably listening to this.
Spotify.
This is all
I'll
about using data to buy cheap assets. Yesterday we talked about buying cars and boats and aircraft.
Yeah.
With data. It's the same thing. It's a data thing. So we can run through lists of business. Think about a manufacturing facility. You have to spend what?
Oh, I can't
Tens
imagine.
of millions of dollars to buy an existing manufacturing facility that probably needs a lot of new machines. And the customers, they may or may not pay. There's a lot of moving parts, figuratively and literally, in a manufacturing facility. I have a buddy who makes billions of dollars a year doing that. It's just not for me. It's too risky for me.
Right. So is that everything? Like, I thought the show was going to be about, you have that all figured out. Now what do you do? How to start it and not fail.
Yeah. So
I have notes on that if you want to talk about it.
You go first and I'll wrap it up with that.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff about running a business that has nothing to do with the actual business itself.
I agree. So this is my stuff. My stuff's all very generic. So you got all the risk out of the way, like we covered ever so briefly.
You know what? Anything. Are you in a relationship
Did
like
you
this?
know he could talk
Anything.
for 20 minutes about risk?
And everything that I say in this relationship
2 hours
is too long. I have been squashed down and I resort to speaking in sound bites. And that sentence that I just said, resort to speaking in sound bites, it's too long for John. That sentence is too long.
Cut to the chase, babe. Isn't that funny? Who knew in our relationship he'd be the one that wants to talk and I don't?
This is my only chance to
Can I
say
go
anything.
now?
All week, this is it.
I know.
This is the only chance to talk.
This is true. So, all right. So, got all the risk out of the way. So, here are my notes about. All right. That's great, Steve. No. My 3 notes are whatever you're doing. Number 1, start before it's perfect. And we do this all the time. We are famous for launching our MVP. And it's a mess sometimes. And
It's an
things
embarrassment.
break sometimes. And it looks like poop sometimes, but we launch it anyway. Get it out there. That's what you should do too with your business. In our world, I don't think your liquor store should look like that. Maybe, but you know what? Your liquor store should, or whatever you're doing, it should be a little bit like, I didn't even get business cards yet. Why would I waste them? Because I'm not sure it's going to happen. Don't make it perfect. Just get it out there. Number 2, don't stop. You got to give it a good run. And this is the thing in our business and any business. Don't throw in the towel too easy. So what? You had one bad mailer. Big deal. get through it, get over it. And a lot of people said, I hung in there and I got it now. And some people come right out of the gate, do fantastic. Some don't, but you got to give it some time. I would say minimum 6 months or 6 mailers, 10 deals, whatever it is. Don't stop. And then what you do after that to make your business survive, you adjust. You call it tacking. I didn't want to steal your words.
Okay.
I'm giving you credit for your word.
Like
I love
sailing
that.
and tacking.
Exactly. You got to adjust and tweak. And this may, I came in too hot here. I
Adapt
came
and
in too low
overcome.
here. I sold too fast. I sold too slow. I didn't post it enough places. Whatever it is, figure it out. And for me, those are my 3 big points here, and you got it.
Somebody told me a long, long time ago, everything in your life has to work on a spreadsheet first. And if it doesn't work on a spreadsheet, it's not going to work in real life. And all the business owners I've ever talked to where they have had a failing business, if you ask them why, they'll say, I don't know. They won't say, well, people stopped coming in, the product stopped. Yeah, they don't know because it never worked on a spreadsheet in the first place. Here's a great example. And this is classic restaurant ownership. If you have, let's say, 50 seats in your restaurant and you serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so that's 50 times 3, that's 150, and you turn the tables twice, each shift, gross exaggeration here, it never happens this way. So now you've got 150 customers times 2, that's 300. You're going to do 300 plates. And so if your average price per plate or credit card receipt per person is $10, that's what? $3,000. That's all you're going to ever make, ever, in that restaurant. Now I'm out. So I just did a spreadsheet on a restaurant. Not only do I not want to buy that restaurant, I don't want to buy any restaurant ever. Why? Because I don't want a cap.
Yeah.
I don't want a revenue cap. We own a company called Neighbor Scoop. It's a membership where you can go up and look up people who click through any piece of real estate in the country, find out who owns it, the debt on it, all kinds of stuff. Their phone number,
Maps.
and it's a subscription model.
Flood
we have a
maps.
bajillion subscriptions, and it's limitless. The more subscriptions Jill can sell, the cheaper we drop the price, the more subscribers we get. It's limitless.
Right.
That company has exactly 1 employee, and she just makes sure that it works okay. She's quite honestly probably pretty bored. So that is the kind of company I want.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exist anywhere. There's no office space. I don't have to get up tomorrow. When you sit down to think about buying a business, think about it. Like, really think about it. Put the expenses in there. Look at labor. The 2 biggest costs to any business are labor, employees and stuff, and rent. And opening a business that's rent specific in this neighborhood that we live in Los Angeles, you got to be off your rocker. We were looking at places that we obviously never pulled the trigger on, where the rent was $10,000 for a regular
Office.
Yeah, for like a 2,000 square foot office.
Right. Not going to happen.
That's how you not fail. You put it all into a spreadsheet first, and you try to make it fail in the spreadsheet before you ever spend a nickel.
Thank you.
Is that too much? Was it too preachy?
Nope. That was perfect. Happy you could join us today. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're right here on the Land Academy Show. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can find us next door on the House Academy Show.
Next week, join us on the Land Academy Show for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. It's a fun week.
Yeah, it's good. I think we're happy because our beach is starting to open up.
Yeah, everybody's happier.
Yeah.
The sun's out. It's summer.
You can put your feet in the water.
We're allowed to
you
actually
could
go to a
surf.
restaurant.
Yay.
We're allowed to do stuff.
I'm excited.
We're not grounded anymore.
Yeah.
We got grounded for like a month and a half.
Yeah, we did. That sucked. I won't do that. Whatever it was, it wasn't me. You know what? That's it. One guy ruined it for all of us. That's it.
Yep.
Thanks. We all got grounded. Thanks.
One meat market in China wrecked it for everyone.
Tell ya. The Land Academy Show remains commercial free for you, our loyal listener. So wherever you're watching or wherever you are listening, please subscribe and rate us there.
We're Steven Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.